day, everyone. You're welcome to today's show, Justice for You. This is brought to you from the stable of Headfort Foundation and bettered out of our project, My Rights, My Freedom. And we would be discussing on real life cases of the average Nigerian. And these are going to be based on true life stories and scenarios that we've had here at Headfort Foundation. We hope that as you watch, you learn. So please do subscribe, share, and also inform your network about this program. I am your host. My name is Jegede Oluwatola, and with me are some of the erudite lawyers here at Headfort Foundation. First, we have,
Oluyemi Orija is my name. You're welcome to the show.
and then,
My name is Itunuolua Awalu. Thank you for tuning in.
okay. So, we want to discuss on the rising trend of false accusation in Nigeria. We've had so many cases here at Headfort Foundation, cases that are coming from our Lawyers Now app, and even cases that we get to come across through our Lawyers Without Border. And it borders on people reporting being falsely accused by people. We had a case of a guy who said that a police officer caught him and then he planted tramadol on him, and because of that, he was taken to court and then he was sent to prison. We've also had several cases like that. And I would be discussing with our lawyers here who have had first-hand experiences with such cases, and they will be talking on things you need to learn about this. So you want to watch to the end to learn one or two things. So starting with William Yorija.
Okay, so false accusation actually is not is something that everybody must have heard, even from our homes, from our family. You see siblings falsely accusing the other one of taking something or doing something. So it's not particularly strange. However, this is a crime that could take away the freedom of another person. It's also a crime that could take away the life of another. So it's very important when we are suspecting somebody to have committed a crime that we are very sure. The law is that when you suspect, for instance, maybe my item is missing and I suspect that okay, my neighbor took it, I could report to the police, and that's the essence of investigation. So before the person is charged or before the person is taken to court, the police need to do thorough investigation to establish that indeed this person actually committed the offense, the person actually took the item, all right? So when investigation is not thoroughly done, that is when we see the issue of false accusation. And the truth of the matter is, when it comes to investigation, we know that when Nigerian police, I always say, when they want to work, they will work. But unfortunately, most times they don't. So they believe the accusation of the accuser. So I just go to the police and I say, my neighbor took my vehicle. They're likely going to just say, invite the guy over or arrest the guy without any investigation of any sort. And the next thing is the guy is being charged to court. Now, being charged to court, if it is a minor offense, the guy could be granted bail. But if it's a felony like rape, when you falsely accuse somebody that the person has raped you, I mean that is a felony and it is not bailable. So this person can be in prison for 5 years, 10 years, awaiting trial in Nigeria. Now those are the terrible consequences of falsely accusing another. I have done a case, and the case is unfortunately still pending in court, where a wife falsely accused the husband of raping her own daughter because she had a child before she married the man. Now, this child is 14 and living with them. So, this woman went to the police and said her husband raped her daughter. They invited the guy over, arrested him, and charged him to court. As we speak, he's still in prison since 2019, awaiting trial. When I met this guy in prison, he told me that the wife just did that because he had cheated on the wife, and the wife caught him. So, the woman was like, I'm going to show you. As a matter of, when he told me in prison, I met him at Ikoyi prison, and when he told me in prison, I didn't believe it. Like, no, it's not possible. Why would your wife want to do that? So I collected the number of the wife. I called the wife. The woman came to our office. I called him off. He also answered me and also came to our office and told us that indeed that was what happened. She had to do that, but she didn't know, because a lot of people who accuse people falsely they don't even know the consequence of it.
Yes.
So this woman doesn't know it's something that was going to go beyond the police and get to court. So I told him, Madam, you have to do a letter of withdrawal that you are not doing this case. But again, she must have been advised that if we go to court and said she lied, it is also a punishable offense, and she could be charged for it. So because of that, she gave us her passport, did an affidavit of withdrawal, but she never came to court till date. She had never shown up. I mean, so that goes back to what I was saying about investigation. If the police had done investigation, if there was a medical examination done on that child, it would have been established that there was nothing like rape or defilement or anything, and that would have just put an end to that investigation. So as a person, you can go to the police and report a case. It is left for the police to do thorough investigation. But again, it still boils down on us as individuals to understand that if I proceed and report something that didn't happen and say it happened, it's going to affect my neighbor.
Yes.
And we all have a role to play as Nigerians and as citizens of the country, right?
Yeah.
So that's the way I just see the issue of false accusation.
Yeah, and to just buttress what you have said, right? So when you're talking about investigation, I took note of the fact that you said the operative word is suspect. So when you say I suspect that, okay, my bag is missing and I suspect this person, I suspect that person, it's different from when you categorically state that it is this person. So if you are saying categorically it is this person, it's because you are sure that it is that person. There is no atom of doubt. And if you look at how Nigeria is and the resources available to the police and maybe the attitude of the police themselves, you understand that when it comes to investigation, they may not do so much, especially when there is nothing to get from it. When it's not a prominent case, there's no celebrity involved, there's no government official involved, right? So they're just going to flow with it. They may not do that investigation. So when you report this person and then the person is charged to court, the person is languishing in custody for for something they know nothing about. So in that situation whereby you state categorically that this person, Tadeo, is the one that took my bag, and you know for a fact that it is wrong, that is where it is false accusation and you can actually be charged for it. And she also mentioned that there are consequences, right? Now for Lagos State, the law provides that when you falsely accuse someone of committing, when you lay false accusation against someone, the punishment is the same with the punishment for that particular offense. So take for instance, you say someone raped you, right? Okay. Just like the case that she just narrated, right? Now, if that man is found guilty of that offense of rape, the punishment is life imprisonment. So, in a situation whereby you lay false accusation against someone, the punishment for you who has laid that false accusation is also life imprisonment. Wow. Because if the person had been wrongly convicted, the person would have spent the entire life in custody. So, and the minimum punishment is 7 years, and that is even at the discretion of the court. So the court can just look at it and decide that, okay, maybe the offense, if it's just stealing, right, and stealing is minimum of 3 years, the court can give you 3 years as a punishment. But in a situation whereby maybe it is more than, if it is life imprisonment, if it is 14 years, and the court wants to just, give you a lesser punishment based on the circumstances around it, the minimum is usually 7 years for any court. So consequences, when we put into our mind that there are consequences for these things, you can't just get angry and say, oh, I'm going to show you. Or maybe you go to see your partner and then you spend the weekend there, then he offends you and then you go to the police and say he kidnapped you. I mean, kidnap is 21 years in imprisonment, right? If this person is taken to court, maybe you were crying and your family, everybody come up and then they go to the police that, he kidnapped our daughter. You have so many people who love you and care for you, and then they show up at the police and then they influence the police that they must charge this matter to court. And you were so scared. At that point, you are like, everybody is involved. There's no way I can turn back now and tell them that it's a lie, and you want to proceed with it. Have in mind that you are taking away someone's life, and and if it's to turn around and this person probably in court, there's no evidence, there's no substantial evidence, and the court lets this person go, this person can go back to the police, report you, and you will be charged for falsely accusing that person.
Okay, so how fully operative is that as of now in Nigeria? Talking about our reality, we see the rising trend of false accusation. In fact, we've seen cases. If I think it's even common, it's commonly said that the first person to go to the police is the winner of the case.
Yeah.
So when we say that whatever crime that person, whatever number of years that person is meant to suffer, if it's found, if it's discovered that it was a false accusation, you would spend that same amount. Is that what is currently obtainable in Nigeria as of now? Talking about our reality.
Okay, so when people ask me describe Nigeria, I say Nigeria is an evolving country.
Okay.
It's a work in progress. So we are not there. But the truth of the matter is the law is in place and it is very operative. And I give an instance. There is a man that walked into our office, I think sometimes last year. What had happened was some goods, okay, it's a landlord-tenant situation.
Okay.
So the landlord rented an apartment for him, a warehouse where he was storing his goods. And while at it, he also subletted part of that place, of that warehouse, to another person without the knowledge of the landlord. Now the landlord got hold of that and was like, no, I won't agree with this, else you are going to pay more. Okay. Now the guy didn't agree with that and then traveled. While at wherever he was, somebody called him that people were invading his property. Now he had there's somebody who was managing the place for him.
Okay.
So he got back. The person told him, you walk into your warehouse, nothing missing, nothing broken. But because somebody told you that they were breaking into your apartment, you went to the police and reported that it was your landlord and his caretaker that came into your property and carted away with your goods. And then the man was talking about millions. He said the things he had in there were about 5 million, and he mentioned a whole lot of things. Then he went to the police. The police invited those ones over, did some investigation, and found out that there was nothing of such that the man had claimed. Now the police charged this guy who reported.
Okay. Charged
him to court, and for false accusation. The court found him guilty, and he spent a year in prison. Now he spent a year in prison. Maybe if the other guys were sentenced or found guilty, if the matter had proceeded to court, maybe they would have spent more than 1 year.
Yes.
But the truth of the matter is 1 year in Nigerian prison is not a joke.
Even
right?
A
day in Nigerian prison is not a joke. So that tells you that the law is operative when our law enforcement agents are ready to work. So that man, and unfortunately, he's not even a young man. He should be in his late 50s. Wow. So imagine spending 1 year at that prime of your time in prison. So it tells you our laws are working. Okay. It might not be 100%, but the truth is it would work. So don't be an example. Don't be the scapegoat.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't be the scapegoat. Well, now I'm making reference to one person, right? Don't let us make reference to you that during your own time when you two did falsely accused someone, you spend 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years in prison. So we shouldn't always believe that it's Nigeria, anything goes. A lot of us feel that nothing is working. Which law? No law is working in Nigeria. Then we just do as we like and we move on. But I want to tell you that's not the situation, because law is in Nigeria. We have laws on everything, including false accusation. And if you are found wanting, especially when the person you falsely accuse is ready to pursue the case, because that's the most important thing. That somebody had falsely accused of whatever crime, it's important for you not to keep quiet. It is important for you. You didn't commit that offense. It's important for you to establish and try to do what you have to do to ensure that the person who had falsely accused you, that the person is prosecuted accordingly. Because if you don't, someone else will also be a victim. If I have the nerve to report that somebody raped me without raping me, I could do worse
Yes.
to some other
someone
person.
else,
So that the stuff
The
will not
trend.
keep going, the trend
Yeah.
will not keep going. It's important for victim of false accusation to to speak up and do the needful.
And importantly, also, we shouldn't be discouraged, right? So I think few months ago, like about a month or two ago, I saw a post on Twitter that the guy said that a lady was attempting to even falsely accuse him of rape. So this girl was already saying, "I'm going to tell everyone that you raped me and all." So he had video, he had chats, he had evidence, right?
Yeah.
And he posted online. He didn't just stop by posting online. He went to the police station. Even when he got to the police station and they were lackadaisical about it, he recorded them. And while at the station that I came here yesterday, I'm here again today, they are not, doing anything, they are not attending to it. So don't be discouraged, even at the point where you have, taken it upon yourself to go and report. Don't get discouraged by the attitude of officials that you meet. Don't get discouraged by what people are saying. Don't get discouraged by people saying, "Oh, let it go," or "leave it." Don't let it go, because this person might have done it to 10, 15 persons before that they have, let it slide. So ensure that regardless of whatever the circumstances, speak up so that they know that this is a criminal offense and it can ruin another person's life.
Then I'll add that you see, when you are convicted and you are an ex-convict in Nigeria, maybe people really do not understand what it does to them. As an ex-convict, there are a lot of things you cannot do. You cannot even be a director of a company, of a public company in Nigeria. So it is that bad. I mean, when you're applying for visas, that they want to ask you what's your conviction record. Have you ever been convicted of any crime? And you don't want to say you have raped somebody when you actually didn't do it. I mean, it could be so painful. So if you understand the consequence of being lied on, you wouldn't keep quiet. And I keep saying this: you cannot be an innocent man and keep quiet. You don't want to keep quiet, because it's a whole lot of damage on your reputation, even in your community. When people say somebody is a rapist, I mean, in Ekiti State now, we now have record of sexual offenders, right? So they put your picture on a billboard or a notice board that this person has actually harassed or raped somebody, whatever it is. So and that is a lot. So even if as an employer, if we have data in Nigeria and I click on it and I see that this person has raped, I don't want to put you in my employment, right? So if you understand the consequence of being lied on, I do not expect that anybody that is accused falsely will keep quiet. So this is just an encouragement to say, please speak up.
Also, I just remembered the case of Wasiu. So Wasiu is one of our beneficiaries at Headfort Foundation, and while he was even still trying to get back his life, trying to find a means of livelihood and all, where he was staying, he was staying with his friends, and the mom of his friend was like, "I don't want this person here," but the friend likes him a lot and feels that he really needs help, and I'm in a position to help him, so why shouldn't I help him? And they are adults, so they kept on staying together. The mom found out, and then she went to the police to report that Wasiu stole from her.
Wow.
It took the intervention of my colleague, a lawyer at Headfort Foundation, to intervene, go to the station, and ensure that very day it was resolved. Now, because the lawyer was present, it was easy for the lawyer to speak on his behalf, and it was easy for them to even take it up to the point of going to see the DPO that very day before they even detained him, right? They went to see the DPO, and the woman was cross-examined. They asked her several questions. What was stolen? When was this stolen? How did you know it was this person that stole it? But she couldn't provide all of those answers because nothing happened. Nothing was stolen. This guy doesn't even come to your house. He wasn't there. So importantly also, you should have a lawyer. Have someone who can come and speak for you. And if you don't have a lawyer, please download our Lawyers Now app. Use that app to get a lawyer to help you. Don't say because you don't have money or you don't have any friend that is a lawyer, you can't afford to. Don't say that.
It's not an excuse.
After watching this video, don't say because you don't have a lawyer. And don't wait until it becomes a big deal or until you come to the realization that it is now
getting
a big
out of
deal.
hand.
Maybe when they now start saying we are taking you to court, or you are going to the prison, that is when your relatives, or you start telling your relatives to get you a lawyer, get you up, immediately nip it at the bud, the way you say it. So immediately when it is still fresh, right, attend to it, get people, call all of your relatives, call whosoever you can call. Let 20-30 people be going to the station to say this person is innocent, so that even if the police don't want to do investigation, when they see that you have people, you have a lawyer, they will attend to your case fastly and they will do due diligence to it.
In Wasiu's case, Wasiu was not even an ex-convict.
Yeah.
Wasiu just, I mean, like any other person in Nigeria, was just charged to court. And eventually the matter was discharged because nobody came in to actually prove the offense that that was alleged against him. So he's not even an ex-convict. We call them ex-inmates because he's been to prison before. No court of law convicted him of any crime. But just because he's been to prison, the friend's mother couldn't stand the fact that his son is a friend to an ex-inmate. And because of that, the woman was ready to rope him up with any form of crime that she could lay her hands on. So it's that bad. I mean, you don't want to be in such shoes. So speaking up is the only option that is on the table.
Okay. Thank you so much. I was going to ask about the practical steps, but I think Itonuolu has done justice to that. Speak up, tell everyone you know to come support you, talk about that I did not do this thing, invite as many people as you can invite, get a lawyer, most especially. Get a lawyer. Lawyers should not be so far-fetched from your thoughts when you are accused of anything. Whenever any case pops up, even if it's just you being forced to sign something that you do not understand, because we've also seen cases of people who were forced to sign statements, and then these things also spiral into several years in incarceration. So we have to make sure that we don't become victims of the system and get a lawyer. Thank you so much. And if you enjoyed this program, please subscribe, share, and tell your friends. Send the link to your network because this could save a life out there. We currently have 4 ongoing projects. We have the Lawyers Now. We have the Lawyers Without Borders. We have Life After Prison Initiative. And also we have My Rights, My Freedom. So please make sure you support us, subscribe, share the link with your friends, and join us on another episode. Thank you.
Bye.